The evening was heavy with anticipation, as Captain Marcus Lang, a young Navy officer with piercing blue eyes and a demeanor that commanded attention, stood at the gates of Mar-a-Lago. Beyond the towering iron gates lay a world of gilded opulence, a mansion that had housed world leaders, forged alliances, and weathered controversies. Tonight, however, it would witness a conversation destined to ripple through the very fabric of the nation. Lang wasn't here for glory. He wasn't here for redemption. He was here to confront one of the most polarizing figures of the modern age, Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States. The meeting wasn't planned to be public, but Lang knew the moment he stepped into Trump's private study, this night would be anything but private. The stakes were monumental. Lang, a hero to some and a maverick to others, carried the weight of his recent controversial decision to defy orders in a war zone, saving countless lives but sparking a nationwide debate. Trump, now out of office but still wielding immense influence, had extended the invitation out of curiosity, drawn to Lang's story of courage and conviction. As Lang walked through the ornate halls of Mar-a-Lago, he felt the weight of history pressing down on him. Would this meeting vindicate him, or would it cement the criticisms of his actions? The answer lay just beyond the grand doors of Trump's private study. The moment Lang entered the study, Trump's presence was palpable. Seated behind a massive oak desk adorned with personal mementos and scattered documents, Trump looked up, his sharp gaze appraising the young officer. "Captain Lang," Trump said, rising from his seat. His voice carried the same authoritative tone that had once echoed through campaign rallies and the Oval Office. "You've caused quite a stir." Lang extended his hand. "Mr. President, thank you for meeting with me." Trump's handshake was firm, his demeanor curious but guarded. "Have a seat. Let's get straight to it." "Let me start by saying," Trump began, leaning back in his chair, "I've read about your decision out there in the field. Bold move. But tell me, what makes a Navy captain disobey orders and take such a gamble?" Lang met his gaze evenly. "Sir, the situation on the ground didn't leave room for hesitation. Civilians were dying. Waiting for orders would have meant more casualties. I made a call based on what I believed was the right thing to do." Trump nodded slowly, his expression unreadable. "And now you're facing the consequences. How does it feel to have the media, the military, and half the country questioning your judgment?" Lang's jaw tightened. "Leadership isn't about avoiding criticism. It's about taking responsibility. I'm ready to face the fallout if it means standing by my principles." Trump smirked, a glint of approval in his eyes. "Spoken like a leader. But let me ask you this. What if the mission had failed? What if your decision cost lives instead of saving them?" Lang didn't waver. "Failure is always a risk, sir, but inaction would have been a guaranteed failure. I'd rather take the chance and live with the outcome than do nothing and live with regret." Trump leaned forward, his elbows resting on the desk. "You know, Captain, your story reminds me of the battles I fought in office. Not literal battles, of course, but the constant pushback, the resistance to doing what I believed was right for this country. People hated my decisions, said I was reckless. But sometimes you have to break the rules to fix a broken system." Lang nodded thoughtfully. "Leadership does mean taking risks, sir. But it also means earning trust. I'm not sure people trust leaders anymore, not in politics, not in the military." Trump's expression grew serious. "You're right. Trust is hard to come by these days. People see leaders as out of touch, more concerned with their own agendas than with the people they serve. The question is, how do we change that?" Lang leaned forward, his voice steady. "By being honest, by showing people that leadership isn't about perfection, it's about integrity." The conversation shifted to Lang's controversial rescue mission. Trump asked for details, and Lang recounted the harrowing night with vivid clarity. "The civilians were trapped," Lang explained. The enemy was closing in. I had to act fast. We had no air support, no reinforcements, just a small team in our training. I knew disobeying orders could end my career, but I couldn't stand by and watch innocent lives be lost. Trump listened intently, his expression a mix of admiration and curiosity. And now, you're a hero to some and a villain to others. How does that sit with you? Lang hesitated, then said, "It's not about how I'm seen. It's about the lives I saved. If that makes me a villain in some people's eyes, so be it." Trump nodded, his respect for Lang growing. "You've got guts, Captain. I like that." Despite their mutual respect, their conversation wasn't without tension. Trump pressed Lang on the potential consequences of his actions. "You say you saved lives, and I believe you. But what happens when others follow your example? What if this sets a precedent for soldiers to defy orders whenever they disagree with them?" Lang's response was measured. "That's a valid concern, sir. But the system isn't infallible. There has to be room for critical thinking, for moral courage. Otherwise, we're just robots, following commands without question." Trump tilted his head, considering Lang's words. "You're walking a fine line, Captain. But maybe that's where real leaders are made." As the conversation deepened, Trump decided to test Lang's resolve. "Let me ask you something," Trump said. "If you had to do it all over again, knowing the backlash you'd face, would you still make the same decision?" Lang's answer was immediate. "Without hesitation." Trump leaned back, a rare look of approval on his face. "Good. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the best leaders are the ones who don't flinch under pressure." Their meeting was interrupted by the sound of commotion outside. Trump's chief of staff entered the room, whispering something in his ear. Trump waved him off but glanced at Lang. "Looks like the press is already camped outside," Trump said with a smirk. "You ready for the spotlight, Captain?" Lang's expression hardened. "If it means standing by what I believe, then yes." Trump chuckled. "Good answer." News of their meeting spread like wildfire. Speculation ran rampant. Was this a mentorship moment, a political maneuver, or something more profound? Clips of their conversation leaked online, igniting fierce debates across the nation. Some praised Lang as a modern hero, a symbol of courage and integrity. Others criticized him as reckless, questioning whether his actions undermined military discipline. Trump, ever the lightning rod, found himself at the center of the storm once again. But amidst the noise, one thing was clear. Their conversation had struck a chord with the American people. In the weeks that followed, Lang became a household name. He used his newfound platform to advocate for reform in military leadership, calling for a balance between discipline and humanity. Trump, reinvigorated by the meeting, began championing stories of unsung heroes like Lang, using his influence to highlight acts of courage and sacrifice. Their meeting, though brief, left an indelible mark on both men. Lang found clarity in his purpose, while Trump saw a reflection of his own battles against convention. As the nation debated the implications of their conversation, one thing became clear. Leadership isn't about playing it safe. It's about standing up for what's right, even when the odds are stacked against you. For Captain Marcus Lang and Donald Trump, their conversation wasn't just about their own stories. It was about inspiring others to think critically about what leadership truly means. And for a nation hungry for authentic voices, their dialogue became a beacon of hope in an age of division.